afternoon, everyone. My name is Jiu and I'm the first speaker for the pro team. We are proving that the factory farming should be banned. Our first reason is that factory farming causes animal cruelty. We believe this because things are more important than only their usefulness. Animals are not a utility like machines. They are living beings. For example, for broiler chickens, the male chicks are not useful. They are genetically altered to produce bigger thighs and breasts, which are the parts in most demand. And they are too heavy, so their bones cannot support their weight. Also, their beaks and toes are cut off and they live in a lit area to prevent fighting among the birds. For pigs, they are born and raised in buildings that have automated water, feed, and waste removal. Many animals are utilized to gratify humans' desire. Finally, I would like to conclude by stating factory farming should be banned due to the animal cruelty.
Good evening, my name is Nick and I am the first speaker for the content. We are proving that factory farming should not be banned. I will review the pro team's first speaker's argument, then I will continue with the con team's argument. First speaker mentioned about animal cruelty. She said animals get damaged by factory farming. But this is not true because people try to protect them actually. For example, people put chicken together, so some of them might have fight. But people turn off the light for chicken, which makes chicken more calming and less fighting. Also, they cut male cow's horn. It is useless for farmed cows. They might use them for hurt each other or attack the farmer. So they manage about length of horns and prevent to grow. By cutting horns, farmers save not only them, but also all animals in the farm. Now, to continue with our team's argument. Our first reason is the demand is increasing these days. Only factory farming can fulfill. We believe this because factory farming can produce much more products. People need more meats, milk, eggs, and other dairy things to alive. The population in the world is keeping increasing. In 2012, it approaches about 70 billion population, so the farm should be many, but the land for farming is restricted. In this situation, factory farming can make products with least small places and make very much products. From our research, it is effective about 65% than original farming. So, with this effective farming, I think we should not ban the factory farming.
His argument was that factory farming is necessary because it has to stand the needs of animal nature foods of the world. Yes, that was his reasons on not banning factory farming. Yes, it is true that the world's population is continuously increasing. But ironically, according to a book called If Earth Was a Town with 100 People, I think you would have heard of it. It is only 2 to 5% of the world's population that consumes this much animal-natured food. The rest of them, for example, like African or other Asian people, maintain on products such as corns or potatoes. Or in these, I mean people with really poor countries, and that takes a lot of the total people thing. Besides, The 2 to 5% of this population already don't need this much food. In fact, many of them are already suffering from obesity, which happens if you consume too much calories, which can be a result of eating too much meat or other dairy things. If factory farming exists to stand the needs of animal nature foods, factory farming won't be necessary anymore. That was a long rebuttal, and let me go to continue with our team's argument. Our second reason why we agree on banning factory farming is because of its massive effect on pollution. As many food as factory farming can produce, they vomit as much waste. The poo of animals, grown-ups, fallen bits of bodies, leftover vaccines, dead animals, and even wolves parted from other livestock. All of these materials form a disgusting amount of waste. It wouldn't have been a problem if the companies disposed them properly, but the problem is that they don't. Over 100 trillion tons of animal waste get disposed by littering them overseas or burning them up, which can cause both air and water pollution. If it was disposed environment freely, the cost of the products will increase highly, which is the reason why most people don't prefer them. For an example of one way animal waste can take effect on water pollution, they may cause a massacre of marine animals. Normally, poo or fallen body bits aren't so polluted to nature, but since the intensity of them are so high, they are basically poison to animals that directly or indirectly consume it. By the way, all this information came from a book called The Food We Eat, which is basically criticizing factory farming. Now, I will close my speech by wrapping up the things I did in this debate, which is strongly agreeing on banning factory farming because of the massive pollution that they cause.
Good evening, my name is Paul and I'm the second speaker for the CON team. We are proving that factory farming should not be banned. I will rebut the pro team's second speaker's argument, then I will continue with our team's argument. The pro team's second speaker said that factory farming produced the pollution. However, we disagree with the pro team's argument because we believe that their argument is not always true. A large amount of pollution can be also produced in usual farming. For example, in the large farm in the countryside, cows eat a lot of plants and produce methane gas. Also, people destroy the land in order to prepare enough land for farming. These make the fatal pollution which directly affects the global warming. Now to continue with our team's argument. Our second reason is that factory farming lowers the cost of food. Since the factory farming supplies a large amount of meat, milk, and eggs, the cost naturally becomes lower. People get less worried on the expensive cost on food, and they prefer the lower cost food more. According to the Wikipedia, factory farming tends to produce a large amount of food that can be sold at a lower price. This is done by reducing land cost and feed cost. Finally, I would like to conclude my speech by stating that factory farming should not be banned.
Good evening, my name is Jack and I am the third speaker for the pro team. We are proving that factory farming should be banned. I will rebut the cons team's second speaker's argument. Then I will continue with the pro team's argument. The opposition's second speaker said that factory farming lowers the cost of food. However, we disagree with the opposition team because it is not perfectly true. For example, according to KBS 9 p.m. news, most of company increase cost of eggs, which is borne by factory farmed chicken. Not only that, but also people pay tax of treatment of harmful material from factory farming. Now to continue with our team's argument. Our third reason is that factory farming causes animals' health problem. We believe this because animals live in small and dirty places. According to Hungarian news, it said animals' house is very dirty and small. Some pigs die because of their strong smell. Not only that, but also some pigs can't stand up in their cage. It is proper that animals are unhealthy, and there is regulation, but according to Sportsjohn, most of place isn't supervised. Finally, I would like to conclude by stating factory farming should be banned. Thank you for listening.
Good evening, my name is Jenny and I am the third speaker for the con team. We are proving that factory farming should not be banned. I will rebut the third speaker for the pro team's argument. Then I will continue with the con team's argument. The opposition's third speaker claimed that factory farming injures the health of animals. However, we disagree with the opposition's position because we believe that this is not true. There are laws that mandate standard ethical practices such as the 28-hour law. According to Wikipedia, under this law, animals being transported for slaughter must be let out every 28 hours for fresh food, water, and exercise. Also, human methods of livestock slaughter act requires livestock to be stunned into unconsciousness prior to slaughter. Now I'll continue with our team's arguments. Our third reason is that factory farming helps the welfare of animals. We believe this because the size of standard cages are smaller than other farms. If the size of cage is smaller, animals can do their work more economically. This means that people can earn more profits from factory farming than others. For example, according to the AEC Central website, factory farmed chickens lay 33.7 more eggs than at other farms. Also, on most factory farms, great care is given to animals. Farmers have to take a good care for their animals in order to make plenty of money. And, as I said in the rebuttal, there are laws that mandate standard ethical practices, so farmers should take good care of their animals. In conclusion, factory farming gives a lot of benefits to humans and animals. Thus, we believe that factory farming should not be banned. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Kate and I am the fourth speaker for the pro team. We are proving that factory farming should be banned in Korea. I will rebut the con team's third speaker's argument, then I'll continue with the pro team's argument. The opposition's third speaker claimed that factory farming is animal welfare. However, we disagree with the opposition team because we, the con team, believe that the existence of small size of cages are just interrupting animals' comfortable life. For example, when animals should be held in just a small place, they can be very stressful and worried. In my experience, fishes I took care of was dead after moved them in more small fish bowl. Cows and pigs are also animals and they can have enough stress to death too. Also, farmers may use low-qualified foods because they should manage their farm cheaply with many animals. Now to continue with our team's arguments. Our second reason is environmental problem. We believe this because factory farming influences bad things to our environment. For example, factory farming pollutes soil, water, and air by nitrogen from chemical fertilizer or other things. According to the report, factory farming and the environment, about 43% of sources of groundwater pollution are factory farming. Livestock in farm occupy 29%, and the phosphorus of fertilizers input contributes 14%. Like that, factory farming is the main factor of harming environment. Also, Korea does not have much space for building factory farming. As a result, we should cut many trees to make space, and it can be the factor of deforestation, cutting too many trees. Finally, I would like to conclude by stating that we should ban factory farming in Korea because it is the main factor of environmental problem. It can pollute whole environment and can be leads to deforestation.
First, the final speaker for the government team said that factory farming can make some pollutions because there are many pollutions and people cutting trees while taking care of animals in factory farming. However, I disagree with that because there are many other problems for making such pollutions. According to the statistic of Korea, it says that the most serious problems for environmental pollution is car gas, and there was a small percentage for factory farming. I think instead of not building efficient factory farming, we have to work hard for not riding the cars often. Now to continue with our argument. Our first reason is factory farming is good for an animal's health because farmers inject antibiotics medicines to animals. Animals can be healthier and it is effective for animals and humans. For example, Sam Gardner, president of Gardner Helpers Incorporated in Bedford County, says that he uses same treatment that include antibiotics to cut and prevent animals' disease in the herd, and it is great for test for antibiotics before it goes into food system, and regardless of whether antibiotics were used on the farm where the food originated. In conclusion, I think factory farming should not be banned because they inject the antibiotics medicines and they will be healthier. Thank you for listening.